Recording stopped.
Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
We will start at 10.
Recording in progress.
Good morning. Last time we have seen the theory of NMR, that is nuclear magnetic resonance. It is the spin property of proton is used in recording the NMR spectra, in which the spin of proton they either align themselves in the direction of applied magnetic field, or if proper energy is given to them, they will flip their spin and acquire higher energy state. And when it comes down to back to its low energy state, some radio frequency waves they are emitted, and these radio frequency waves they are detected by the detectors that we have seen last time. And that detector then draws the image on the display with the help of computer software. So this phenomena is used in medical equipment, magnetic resonant imaging, MRI machine, in which a large magnet is used there, a different varying magnetic field with the help of different coils X, Y, and Z. It is varied, right? There are different coils here, and the patient's body lies inside that magnetic field. So there is a spin flip takes place, and radio waves they are emitted, and those radio waves they are picked up by sensitive detectors, and such kind of images they are drawn on the computer screen. It can be printed also with the help of other equipments. So that was our last topic, and we have just seen a brief introduction of binding energy. Now, binding energy is the energy which is required to break apart these nuclear particles, those are called as nucleons, separately. Okay. So if you take the nucleus mass, it is slightly smaller than the separated nucleons added together, mass added together. That mass difference is called as mass deficit. If you multiply it by 931.5 mega electron volt, which is energy equivalent of 1 AMU, then you will get the binding energy of particular nucleus. Okay. So that also we have seen last time. Now we will solve examples. This is one example of helium nucleus. When it is binded together, 4.0026 amps, this AMU is the mass of this binded nucleus. If you separate all these nucleons and added their mass, then its mass comes out to be 4.0330, which is slightly greater than this combined mass. So we can take their difference. This is called as mass deficit delta M. Multiply it by 931.5 mega electron volt, we will get 28.3 mega electron volt. This is about helium. Now we will solve a problem. This is that formula of binding energy. ZMP plus NMN minus M, which is the combined mass of nuclear mass, you can say, into 931.5 mega electron volt. So this binding energy also can be defined as, instead of MP, if we take MH, which is mass of hydrogen atom, which is used to balance this mass of neutral atom containing the nucleus. Here electrons mass is also taken into consideration. That's why here we are taking this mass of hydrogen atom, which consists of one electron also. So to do this balancing act, we have to add this MH instead of MP. If in your problem MP is given, that is mass of proton, you will use this formula. If in your problem MH is given, you can use this formula. So for deuterium, for example, deuterium is having Z equal to what? 1. Z means number of protons, and N equal to 2 minus 1, that is 1 again. So 1 proton, 1 neutron. In this formula, if we substitute, mass of hydrogen is given as 1. mH is given as 1.007825 AMU. Mass of neutron Mn is given as small n 1.008665 AMU. Then you will get, substitute all the values, 1 into this mH. 1 is what? Z. Z is 1 here. So 1 into something is that value only. Here again 1 is neutron, N is neutron number. So 1 into 1.008665. So same value we'll get, minus mass of deuteron nucleus is 2. That means this capital M, 2.014102 AMU. If you add this 2 and subtract this 2 point something, you will get, and multiply it by, this will be the mass deficit delta M, this one, into 931.5. So we will get 2.224 mega electron. So this way we have to solve any problem given with the help of given data. All the data will be given to you, and take care that all the digits after decimal points you have to write. Okay. For example, let us solve this example. Find binding energy per nucleon. We are not using this packing fraction of helium nucleus using the given data. Now here Mn and Mp are given. So we have to use this formula, binding energy equal to Zmp plus Nmn minus capital M, which is mass of helium nucleus, multiply by 931.5 mega electron. For helium, Z equal to what? 2. N equal to A minus Z. A is 4. 4 minus 2 equal to 2. So 2 into MP कितना है? N is 2 into Mn 1.008666 दिया है. Whatever value is given in the problem, you have to use that one. Minus capital M is 4.001265. कितना हुआ? Into 931.5. Can anybody tell? Please calculate. 2 into this, use proper brackets, plus 2 into this, that will give you 4 point something, minus 4.001265. How much you got? कर रहे हैं कि नहीं? 1.007277. That is 2.014554 plus 2 into 1.00866. That comes out to be 2.017332 minus 4.001264. Nobody is doing?
Ma'am, for the bracket, the answer is 0.030621.
0.03621.
0.3062.
0. Okay. 1 भी नहीं है आगे.
1 है मैम.
Okay. Into 931.5. कितना आएगा?
Ma'am, 28.5234615.
5434615.
Ma'am, 28.5234615.
एक मिनट फिर से बता. 28.45
234615.
mega electron, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is binding energy. If binding energy per nucleon, that is the next quantity we have to calculate. What we have to do? We have to divide it by number of nucleons. How many nucleons are there? 4.
4.
So divide it by 4. कितना आ रहा है? 7 point.
Ma'am, 7.130
130.
865 and 375.
Oh, बहुत बड़ा हो गया. So let us express this into up to this 2 digit 7.13. 0 ही है तो 13 ही रहेगा. आगे का skip करो. So binding energy per nucleon will be 7.13 mega electron. Thank you, Mansi.
Ma'am, I'm not Mansi, ma'am.
किसने बताया आंसर?
Ma'am, Asawari.
Asawari, sorry. Asawari. Okay. So this way we have to solve. Binding energy first we have to calculate and then binding energy per nucleon. Let us solve another example. Now this is can you read this problem? A proton of energy 0.45 mega electron volt collides with a lithium nucleus. Just note it down, resulting in production of 2 alpha particles. Find how much energy is produced in this process. Now we will solve this problem. What is given data? A proton is colliding with the lithium nucleus. So lithium nucleus plus proton will produce how many alpha particles? 2 alpha particles. So 2 times helium nucleus, right? Alpha particle is nothing but helium nucleus. Right? In this process, some energy is produced. So how much energy or binding energy is produced, that we have to calculate. You can write here binding energy EB. Two alpha particles are there. So you can write here proton as 1. So 7 plus 1,
8,
8. And 3 plus 1,
4,
so 4, this 4 into 2 will be 8. So 7 plus 1, 8. That will be balanced. 2 into 2s are 4. So 3 plus 1, 4. Right? So this is the balanced equation now. In next unit, I think you are studying the balancing also. Right? न्यूक्लियर रिएक्शन में थोड़ा पार्ट हो गया होगा आपका. रिएक्शंस लिखते हैं ना उसमें, न्यूक्लियर रिएक्शंस.
yes ma'am.
तो हमें क्या करना है, वी हैव टू टेक द masses, total mass of this minus mass of 2 helium nucleus. इन दोनों का डिफरेंस लेके we have to calculate its equivalent binding energy. Its equivalent energy by multiplying by 931.5 mega electron. ठीक है. तो लिथियम का कितना है दिया हुआ मास 7.0. So you can write here mass of lithium plus mass of hydrogen. वो कितना आ रहा है 7.016005 प्लस प्रोटॉन का मास, राइट, 1.007825. एडिशन विल गिव यू कितना आएगा ये, आसावरी करो.
Ma'am, it will be equal to 8.023830.
बरोबर 283830, right. Now on the right side we have mass of 2 helium nucleus. Now mass of helium nucleus is given, multiply it by 2. So that will give you, calculate this, 2 into 4.002604.
8.005208.
Yes ma'am.
5208. 8.005208, right?
Yes.
Yes ma'am.
Okay. Now we have to take the difference between these two and multiply it by 931.5, right? So delta M, that is mass deficit, will be 8.023830 minus 8.005208. कितना आ रहा है
0.18622.
0.186.
0.09. Sorry, 0.0186.
0.018622.
Right?
Yes ma'am.
So this will be mass deficit. Now binding energy will be the energy conversion of this mass deficit. So delta M into 931.5 mega electron volt. So multiply it. How much you got?
17.3463.
346393.
Again, round up it up to two decimal digits. So 3, 5. Okay, 4 है तो 5 हो जाएगा because this is 6. Next digit is 6. मेगा इलेक्ट्रॉन वोल्ट आ रहा है सबका ऐसा 17.35 मेगा इलेक्ट्रॉन.
Yes, ma'am.
So when any particle is colliding with any nucleus, whatever is the product, that product's mass you have to calculate, and the starting particles and nucleus, their masses is to be added, and then the difference will give you deficit, and then convert it into energy. That means we have to multiply it by 931.5 mega electron. So such kind of problems will be there. Okay. समझ में आया कैसे करना है? We have to write
Yes, ma'am.
the reaction first and see on the left hand side of the reaction what particles are there. All the masses will be given to you. Take out their difference, mass deficit निकालना है, and then multiply it by 931.5. तो एक सिंपल वाला हो गया. लास्ट टाइम जो जैसे एनी न्यूक्लियस का हम बाइंडिंग एनर्जी निकाल सकते हैं इफ इट इज broken up into its constituent particles. प्रोटॉन्स और न्यूट्रॉन्स में अगर वो सेपरेट कर दिया देन सिंपल हो गया. और एक ऐसा टाइप का है. ठीक है, एक और है क्या प्रॉब्लम? ये कार्बन का है, ये सिंपल है. यू जस्ट टेक इट्स स्क्रीनशॉट, बाद में आप सॉल्व कर लेना. नेक्स्ट टाइम मुझे आंसर बताओ.
Yes, ma'am.
ले लिया?
Yes, ma'am.
ये एक और है, इसका भी ले लो स्क्रीनशॉट. कैलकुलेट बाइंडिंग एनर्जी पर न्यूक्लियन बोला है, तो फॉर दैट यू हैव टू फर्स्ट कैलकुलेट बाइंडिंग एनर्जी एंड देन डिवाइड इट बाय 35. So that will give you binding energy per nucleon. Use the given data to calculate. ठीक है, ये दो प्रॉब्लम आप सॉल्व कर लेना. Now we will turn to nuclear stability. It is also called as Sager chart. Now if we take the binding energy, or if you plot number of neutrons versus number of protons, number of neutrons on y-axis and number of protons on x-axis, z, and on y-axis, and you will observe that all the nucleons, all the nuclides, they will be lying in a particular region. You can call it as region. This shaded portion is some region in which all the nuclides, existing nuclides, they are lying. Not here, not here. Okay, they are just aggregated or concentrated in some particular area. This area is there. And the stable nuclides, there are unstable nuclides and stable nuclei. You can call it as elements also. As we are dealing with nucleus, that's why we are calling them as nuclides. Okay, so all the stable nuclides, they are found in a particular region or they are found to be follow a particular pattern. Okay, so based on their protons, number of protons and their number of neutrons inside that nucleus, finding inside that nucleus, the researchers plotted this graph and drawn some conclusion. So it is nothing but a study, and it is related with their stability. Okay, so particular region is related to a stable region. That region consists of stable nuclides. So the region is also known as band of stability. So this is that band of stability. So a plot of number of neutrons versus number of protons for stable nuclei reveals that it shows us that the stable isotopes follow or fall into a narrow band. So that region is known as band of stability. So this band of stability, if you see, this is given by this non-radioactive elements, because radioactive elements are not stable. They are continuously evolving, they are continuously giving out radiations and continuously converting into another nuclei. Okay, so this blue color you can see here is non-radioactive elements. That shows non-radioactive elements, and this green color is showing a radioactive region, which is on the left hand side and the right hand side of this band of stability. So very narrow band, you can see this is very narrow band in which all the stable nuclei lies. Okay, and what is this what is this straight line? This straight line is the line for which n equal to z. Now for any graph, if the straight line is there, it divides the graph into equal parts. It is exactly at the center of the graph. As all the these squares, they are not shown here. Otherwise, we can extend this further. Then it will show you that it is dividing the graph equally into two parts. Okay, like this, if you further extend it. So initially, if you see, the straight line has some stable isotopes, right? This blue color region is also there, zigzag region, and after that it is going further apart from this straight line. The straight line is going like this, and the band of stability follows this path. Okay, now this is n equal to z line, where number of neutrons and number of protons, they are same for some lighter nucleons. For example, helium. If you take helium's example, z equal to 2, number of protons are 2, and n is also 2. 4 minus 2 is 2, right? So this helium nucleus lies on this straight line. Similarly, oxygen 16, 8, where z equal to 8 and n is also 8. So that oxygen also lies on this straight line. Here, somewhere here, below this 10, z equal to 10, 8 will be there, right? So it is on the straight line. But as you go on further, after this z equal to almost 16 or something, this stable region will go away from this straight line. So where this n is greater than z, this region above the straight line will have n greater than z, and below straight line there will be some elements which are radioactive elements which are having n less than z. Below the straight line, the region will be n less than z. But if you see, that portion is very small, very less elements are having n less than z. Almost all the elements, either they will have n equal to z, that is number of neutron equal to number of protons, or they are having greater than z. N is greater than z, right? So above this line, above this straight line, we are having all this region n greater than z, right? Very small elements will have n equal to z, and very small n less than z, right? So almost all the elements will have n greater than z, number of neutrons greater than z. Why this is so? That is required to get the although they are found naturally, all the elements they are found naturally, very few are developed in the lab, artificial lab, you can say. All the elements, they are found naturally in the nature, right? We have only used those materials in our day-to-day life, right? For a betterment of our, for carrying out our day-to-day activities, we use these elements like metal, right? Metals are there, various minerals, various elements, they are found in the nature. That means earth crust, we will find those elements. So we excavate them through mining activities and use by purifying or allowing it, that means mixture of two elements, two metals we form and we use for our betterment of life, right? So these elements, when they are studied, they are found to be lying in particular region on this n versus z graph, and this chart is called as Siegert chart. So what is the observation? First observation is that the lighter stable nuclei have equal number of protons and neutrons, and they will lie on this straight line. Okay, so first observation, they will have equal number of protons and neutrons. Lighter, they are called as lighter. For example, nitrogen 14 also has 7 protons and 7 neutrons. I have given you another examples, helium and oxygen. Then nuclei with even number of protons and neutrons, they are stable. That means, again take the helium example, even number of protons, z equal to 4 and z equal to 2. So this will give you even number of protons and even number of neutrons. So those elements generally they are found to be stable. So and approximately 60% of the total stable nuclei, they are having even number of protons and neutrons. Okay, I will show you the chart. This is the chart table. Number of stable isotopes or nuclei, they are 157, which are having even number of proton and even number of neutron, right? Total, how much we are getting? Can you do this total? 157 plus 53 plus 50 plus 5, 200 something?
265.
265, right? So total there are 265. So out of this 265, 157 are having even number of protons and even number of neutrons. So almost 60% of the total. Some will vary, the number will vary here, 61 point something or something. Okay, approximately we are taking 60% of the total. They are having even number of protons and neutrons, and they are highly stable, right? And 53% sorry, 53 of the total, that means 20% almost, they are having even number of protons and odd number of neutrons. Okay. And total 50 of the total 265, that is almost 19%, will have odd proton and even neutron. And only 5 of the total 265, which comprises only 1%, they are having odd number of protons and odd number of neutrons in their nucleus. So even nature also denied formation of odd. Okay, symmetrical pattern. You will find that nature also loves symmetric or even, right, even numbers in their formation of any kind of material or anything. Different patterns, if you see biology and all, biological patterns, flower pattern. So these numbers are magic numbers, right? Some magic numbers are followed by the nature also. Same here, even pattern is followed by most elements. Even odd is also having good number, and odd even is also having good number, but odd combination is only 5. Okay, so this is the these are some conclusions by plotting them on this stability graph. So nuclei with even number of protons and even number of neutrons, they are stable, approximately 60%. Nuclei with even and odd, even number of protons and odd number of, they are forming approximately 20%, they are also stable. And odd and even combination, it is also 20%. Only 5 isotopes are having odd combination, and these isotopes are hydrogen, lithium, boron, nitrogen, tantalum. Okay, so all these are only 5 isotopes having odd combination. These are called as magic numbers. Certain number of nucleons, they are following magic numbers. They are stable against nuclear decay. These numbers of protons are 2, 8, 20, 28, 50, 82 and 126. For example, helium is having number of protons as 2, number of neutrons also 2. Oxygen, number of protons 8, number of neutrons also 8. Calcium, number of protons 20, 40 minus 20, number of neutrons is also 20. Here n equal to 8, here n equal to 2. Here lead, number of protons equal to 82, neutrons kitna hai?
126.
Yeah. So this is number of neutrons. Okay. So these numbers are called as magic numbers, where all these nuclides, they are found to be highly stable. So if you see the unstable isotopes, like radioactive isotopes, they are unstable. So they will lie around this stability band, and by emitting alpha, beta or gamma radiations, they will try to attain this stability and they will try to come to this stable band. So if you see, this lead is the end element of radioactive series. What are radioactive series? When one element, radioactive element, emits either alpha, beta or gamma, it will be converted into another element. Suppose A is the one element, like radium, thorium, right, or uranium, So it will be converted into another radioactive element, either radioactive element or stable element. Okay, generally it is radioactive element because number of suppose this is alpha emission, suppose this is beta emission, it will be converted into another, because with the help of alpha emission and beta emission, what they are actually doing, they will try to attain the stability. Okay, and if they are stable now, they will be entering into this stable band, this blue color band. Okay, so around this, all these are unstable elements. Okay, so their stability will depend, all these series, nuclear series, it will be converted into another element by emission of alpha, beta or gamma, right? So this series will continue till you will get any stable element, and generally this stable element is lead, Pb, which is heavy element but stable element. So all these uranium, thorium, they will be entering into some kind of series. They will create a series by emission of alpha, beta or gamma. Okay, and I will show you the this series that we have to study into next chapter, but I will just show you. Yes, this is uranium series. Can you see this diagram?
Yes, ma'am.
If you see this one is uranium. 238 is its atomic mass number. It will be converted into another uranium having 234 atomic mass number by emission of alpha. If you see this arrow towards left side, this represent alpha emission. Okay, this one. And if you see this arrow going towards right side, that denotes beta emission, beta minus. So that will be converted into another isotope of uranium. Now, what are these figures in the bracket? They are half-life time. You might have heard half-life time of uranium, these radioactive elements.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it is a time taken for the radioactive, taken by the radioactive element to reduce to half of its initial quantity. Suppose 1 gram was initial quantity. After 4.5 into 10 raised to power 9 years, the uranium 238 will reduce to 0.5 gram. For example, I am taking, okay? But its half-life time can be in years or minute or hours or second also, like this. Okay, so this half-life time will be different for different isotopes. Though it is uranium element, but it has many isotopes, and you know that isotopes are having same Z but different mass number, different A. So their A are different, 238, 234, right? Here it is not given, but their half-life time they are given. Some may are having very small half-life time. After 24.1 days, they will be converted half of its initial quantity like this. Then it will be 1.18 minute, right? So after only 1.18 minute, this element changes its form. It will be converted into another isotope of uranium, which is having this one, half-life time in hours, and so on. So this series will continue. You can see there are so many, so it is complicated. It's not like just that one element is taken and we are going on measuring its half-life time. Okay, complicated process and not easily it can be detected. In nature, it is going on continuously. We can't see, but through mathematical calculations, and there are different methods. And this is not the time to discuss all this, but it can be detected. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. हाँ, ये 234 का हाफ टाइम विल बी दिस वन. यहाँ दिया नहीं है क्या? हाँ, ये 224.1. नेक्स्ट इसमें after this 238 uranium will take 4.5 into 10 raised to power 9 years to convert into 234. It depends on the half-life time of that particular isotope. Now you can see this uranium is converting into this IO, some element. इसका नेम देखना पड़ेगा, मुझे भी पूरे पता नहीं है एलिमेंट्स. आई क्या है देखना, राइट? IO element. So that will be 8 into 10 raised to power 4 years. After that, it will be converted into radium. Radium 226. Radium ka isotope which is having A equal to 226. After 1602 years, this radium will be converted into radon. Rn is radon. So 3.82 days में ही sorry, after this years, so many years. So this series will be continued till at the end you are getting here stable isotope is radium only, Rag. Okay, and it will take different paths also. After this, you can see the zigzag path. I will clear this. This is the path taken by different elements. Now, after this, there are 3 paths. One is going this way, one is going this way, one is going this way. Okay, it may take this path or this path or this path. After that also there are 2 paths, right? And after that also there are 2 paths. So in the end, if any way, one way can be taken by all the elements, and in the end when it will be converted into stable, then this chain stops. And you can see that it is very difficult to pass so many years. So maybe this chain may reach to this stage only, because 4.5 into 10 raised to power 9 years is a very long span of time, right? 10 raised to power 9 years, billions of years are there. Okay, so very complicated process also. नहीं होगा, हाँ. So yeah, these are all theories, you know, different mathematical calculation and observations. All these are assumptions and conclusions taken out. Yeah, natural. All the radioactive elements are natural, but scientists are able to generate artificial radioactive elements also, but they are very few. So the process is very difficult. Very energetic particles they are used to bombard a particular nucleus, then it will be converted into a radioactive nucleus. Stable nucleus को bombard किया गया very high energetic particles, बहुत ज़्यादा velocity होनी चाहिए. So it requires sophisticated instruments. जैसे वो large hadron collider सुना होगा आपने, लार्ज हेड्रॉन कोलाइडर, वहां पर हिग्स बोसॉन और गॉड पार्टिकल का तो सारे एक्सपेरिमेंट उधर ही होते हैं, जिनेवा के पास है, जिनेवा, स्विट्जरलैंड। सर्न लेबोरेटरी सुना है? सो इट इज मल्टी नेशनल लेबोरेटरी, बहुत सारे देशों के साइंटिस्ट वहाँ काम करते हैं। इट इज अंडरग्राउंड इन स्विट्जरलैंड और फ्रांस के। इतना बड़ा है कि वो 8 किलोमीटर का बड़ा सा रेडियस में वो अंडरग्राउंड टनल बना हुआ है। एंड इन दैट टनल ऑल द एक्सपेरिमेंट्स दे आर कैरिड आउट विद द हेल्प ऑफ हाई एनर्जी। हाँ, पार्टिकल्स, अदर पार्टिकल्स, बहुत पार्टिकल्स अभी फाइंड कर रहे हैं, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट्स। हमें अभी तक पता है न्यूट्रॉन्स है, प्रोटॉन्स है, बट प्रोटॉन्स एंड न्यूट्रॉन्स आल्सो आर मेड अप ऑफ क्वार्क्स, और छोटे पार्टिकल्स से, क्वार्क से बने हुए हैं। हाँ, हाँ, उसके अंदर भी और स्मॉल पार्टिकल्स है, क्वार्क्स बोलते हैं उनको। बहुत बहुत है उसमें और भी। मे बी ये मुझे लगता है ये इट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ योर सेकंड यूनिट, उसमें आएगा ये थोड़ा सा इंट्रोडक्टरी पार्ट। इफ यू गो इन डिटेल, हर एक का एक लाइफ टाइम रहता है, कॉर्क्स का, वो सब फ्लेवर्स बोलते हैं उनको, उनके नाम भी अच्छे हैं। यू कैन स्टडी इट मोर। ये ऑनलाइन भी अवेलेबल होगा सब इंफॉर्मेशन। अभी हम सब डिस्कस नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि अब हमारा सिलेबस रह जाएगा, बाइंडिंग एनर्जी पढ़ना है पहले। ओके, एग्जाम के लिए, सॉरी योर टाइम इज अप आई थिंक। एग्जाम के लिए क्या क्या है मैंने बताया है आपको ना? हाँ, बाइंडिंग एनर्जी तक बस बस सिंपल सिंपल प्रॉब्लम्स, प्रॉब्लम्स नहीं है, सिंपल फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स टाइप ही मैंने पूछा है, ज्यादा नहीं पूछा है। ओनली 7 क्वेश्चंस आर देयर related to unit 1, 7 questions from unit 2, और 6 questions from unit 3, like this 7 7 6 करके टोटल आपके 20 क्वेश्चंस आएंगे। ऐसे ही जैसे फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स, 1 AMU इक्वल टू डैश डैश डैश।
मैम असाइनमेंट में जैसे क्वेश्चंस थे वैसे?
हाँ, वैसे ही, बस कितना प्रोटॉन्स है, कितना न्यूट्रॉन्स है। तो जो आपको दिया गया है, PDF दिया है ना? हाँ, गूगल क्लासरूम में, मेरा जो गूगल क्लासरूम है
प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चन होगा।
यूनिट 1 का PDF मैंने जो दिया है, नोट्स का PDF जो है ना, उसमें सब है ये। हाँ, बुक का चैप्टर का मैंने PDF दिया है ना,
यस
देख,
मैम।
हाँ देखा होगा आपने, गूगल क्लासरूम में जाओ, वहां पे देखो सब। हाँ, तो ये ऐसे छोटे छोटे क्वेश्चन से पूछेंगे।
मैम हमने प्रॉब्लम्स जैसे न्यूमेरिकल सॉल्व किए वैसे नहीं आएंगे?
हाँ हाँ, वैसे भी आएंगे वो, कितना न्यूट्रॉन है, कितना प्रोटॉन है। नहीं, बड़े नहीं आएंगे, बड़े नहीं आएंगे, क्योंकि 1 मार्क का ही क्वेश्चन है, 1 मार्क का क्वेश्चन है, 1 मिनट से भी आपको कम में सॉल्व करना है, तो वो बड़े बड़े नहीं पूछे। जैसे बाइंडिंग एनर्जी का बड़ा है, वो नहीं
तो
पूछे।
मैम,
बट बाइंडिंग
हेलो
एनर्जी क्या है, हाँ वो पूछ सकते हैं, डेफिनेशन। सो आपको क्या
हेलो
करना है? हेलो, हाँ बोलो।
मैम, मैं पूछ रहा हूँ जो MRI है इसका मतलब क्या, मतलब हार्मफुल भी रहता है ये ना?
MRI इज नॉट हार्मफुल। MRI हार्मफुल नहीं होता है, अदरवाइज वो यूज ही नहीं करते बॉडी पार्ट्स के लिए, है ना? उसमें कुछ यही नहीं है ना, कोई रेज ऐसा जाता नहीं है, रेडियो एक्टिव रेज है वो, दैट इज नॉट हार्मफुल। उसका जितना फ्रीक्वेंसी ह्यूमन बॉडी के लिए अच्छा है, उतना ही यूज करें। ओके, समझ में आ गया आपको क्वेश्चंस का स्वरूप कैसा होगा?
यस मैम।
Very simple questions are there. If you have attended the lectures, it is sufficient to solve the questions. Okay, so I am stopping. You have next lecture. 40 students. I'm ending the meeting. You can join it later.
Recording